Need for Speed Most Wanted was initially released on November 11th, 2005. The game is 17 years old by now, and for some reason Need for Speed Most Wanted is still one of the most loved games in the Need for Speed franchise. Most Wanted's story is similar when compared to Need for Speed Underground. Underground was mainly focused on the racing, then the story. Most Wanted follows the exact same footsteps. If you are going to play the game, you might as well not take the story serious, besides of the one goal that is given to you within the first 3 races, as soon as the main protagonist loses his BMW M3 GTR. And yeah, that one goal is get that car back. Simple as that. How you get the car back is by climbing back up on the blacklist rankings. The blacklist is a leaderboard with all the best races in the game. You as the player must make your way up from number 15 to number 1 on the blacklist. In order for you to challenge a ranked blacklist player, you must complete a set number of races required so that you have a chance to rank up on the leaderboard. If you win against a ranked blacklist racer, you'll be able to choose 2 markers that might give you a pink slip of the blacklist racer's car. Getting a pink slip is always helpful because early game you won't get enough cash to upgrade or buy a faster car. Sometimes having a free faster car is always good. So in my opinion, the story isn't that much in depth as like the modern Need for Speed games, and in my opinion, if you are gonna play this game, you're only gonna play it for the racing, not the story. There are 36 cars available in Most Wanted, and each car you can buy it from the Blue Warehouse as soon as you're done with the Safe House tutorial. The visual customization is quite similar to Need for Speed Underground. You can modify the color of both your car's body and the rims. Also, you can put decals on the windows and the body of the car. You can also put window tints, and also you can put a number on the side of your car. The visual customization options available in Need for Speed Most Wanted, they were significantly reduced when compared to Need for Speed Underground. It's kinda sad, but it also makes sense that the game doesn't rely on neon lights because 90% of the time you play during the day, and in Need for Speed Underground you play the whole game during the night. The huge upgrade to Need for Speed Most Wanted's car customization is the performance. The big reason why I say that is because you can finally tune your car to your liking, and this helps to get better performance out of your car, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And another good thing, nitrous refills as you drive. So if you're kinda stagnant or in one place for a while and you're out of nitrous, the nitrous won't refill unless your car is moving. So just keep in mind, if you know you're gonna stay still or you're gonna go through a roadblock, you're gonna have to spare a little bit of nitrous just so that you can launch your car off. And another big up is that tires, brakes and suspensions are very useful on getting more handling out of your car. This is helpful because the old Need for Speed games, they're not well known for their handling because, yeah, I mentioned it a lot in Need for Speed Underground. The cars like to slide or skid on the road for some reason. So let's talk about the tuning again. Tuning your car helps you get more performance out of your car. You can do this by going on the menu screen when you're free roaming or when you're in a race. But my advice is stick to one type of race and then try to tune your car to your liking. But yeah, tuning might be something you might use if you are very into getting more speed out of your car. But it also might be something you might overlook because I don't think it's something that you should pay attention to if you're a casual person, and if you are anything but a casual person and you just want to get into Need for Speed back again and you want to check out everything to what it has to offer, you might have to check out some of the tuning options. There's something you might like. And if you're a casual person, please just look at the acceleration one. I think it's available in the turbo or in the supercharge menu of the tuning menu. Just increase the top speed or the acceleration because that really helps a lot. The one big change that was very noticeable in Need for Speed Most Wanted's car handling, it was the weight distribution. I can't tell you how many times that I've lost races in Need for Speed Underground just because I took a corner while in high speed and then my car just slides off the road as if it was driving on ice. And yeah, that's not because of the road itself, it was because of the traction of the car and also the weight distribution that forced the car for some reason to slide in every turn. But yeah, Need for Speed Most Wanted's car weight distribution is something that the devs really fixed and worked on. You can tell because the muscle cars and the light cars behave very different when taking corners or ramming other police cars. I am very happy that they fixed this because car weight distribution is a visual feedback and also it gives the player a lot of information whether they should reduce their speed or whether they should increase it when they're taking corners or ramming into traffic or sliding on the road. But yeah, I'm happy that they fixed the car weight distribution in this version of the game. It's sad they didn't fix it in Need for Speed Underground. The open world of Most Wanted is grey and grim. To be honest, that is what I expected from a 17-year-old game running on modern hardware. But the road layouts and the different sections of the map change how you drive. The map is divided into three. The beginner section of this game is a place called Rosewood. Rosewood has very wide roads, and the other 20% of that map has narrow roads. And 90% of the time when you're driving there, you're not forced to take narrow corners. Number 2 is Camden Beach. Camden Beach is the industrial section of the map of Most Wanted. This side of the map is what I expect from street races. What I mean by that, Camden Beach's roads are very narrow and there's a lot of corners and there's a lot of traffic when racing. That's what I want normally from a racing game, or a street racing game if I may say. I love racing at Camden Beach because of the layout of the roads and how narrow it is, and 90% of the time you have to be cautious of your speed so that you can make the turns, and you have to avoid the traffic because of the narrow road. Depending on how long you spent on this section of the map, you might either love it or hate it. I won't blame you because of the narrow roads and the traffic. And if I may say, by the way, there was a couple of times where I took a 90-degree angle corner at 160 miles per hour just so that I can crash to another car on the traffic, and then I lost the race just because I didn't know how to control my speed properly. I understand why the devs made Camden Beach the second section of the map. And section 3 of the map is Rockport. There's nothing much to say about Rockport because it's very similar to Rosewood. 70% of this section of the map is very wide roads, and the other 30% it's just narrow roads. And when racing in endgame, like Razor's Mission or starting from the top 5 to number 1, you don't get to drive a lot in those narrow sections, to be honest. So in my opinion, I think Rockport should have been the one other map that composes of both elements, but it seems to be more heavily lenient on having wider roads and less traffic for some reason. My favorite types of races in Need for Speed Most Wanted is sprint races, speed traps, toll booth, and circuits. So let's talk about the police. In the game, there is a bounty system. This bounty system is also one of the requirements needed for you to be able to challenge a ranked blacklist racer. The bounty missions, in my opinion, are very fun. While being chased down by the police, you'll be able to hear their comms, and 90% of the time when they speak through the comms, they will always refer to their tactics as in codes. You have to pick up on what codes they're saying and how they maneuver around the car, because it might give you a slight hint to what they're going to do. The one that I recall the most is a 1050. A 1050 is when the police cars try to gather in front of your car, and then they stop just to stop your car from moving at high speed. And this will cause your car to stop exactly where it is, and then the rest of the cars will try to block you. So in the game, there's a heat system. Getting a lot of heat on your car will result into more police cars trying to chase you. And the more heat you get, the more different types of police cars will chase you down. A good example would be in heat number 1 and 2, there's Honda Civics. Heat number 3 and 4, there's GTOs. And heat number 5, you get chased down by Corvette. Guess who's leading that police unit? It's Cross, to be honest. You can also hear him in the comms. If you kill him or if you take out his car, you get a 500,000 bounty bonus. That's really good if you just want to speed run through the bounty systems. But then you would have to be in number 5 going up so that you can be able to challenge Cross, if I may say, or get heat level number 5. Oh, and the most fun part, or the most awesome part when it comes to the police system, is getting to heat level 4, because yeah, the ground units or the other police cars, they get assistance from a freaking helicopter, and shaking the helicopter is not too easy. You just have to get into a place or drive through a place that is concealed from bird's eye view. This comes into like a few areas on the map. If I had to make an estimate, it would be at least 25% of the map is in concealed places. The last part, but not the least part when it comes to the police system in this game, is pursuit breakers. Pursuit breakers are huge contraptions scattered around the map. They can vary from donut shops to gas stations, or they can be landmark art scattered around the map, or even billboarded sometimes. Pursuit breakers are very useful when it comes to trying to eliminate the police. That's because you ram into them and then the police just get eliminated like fly. My favorite pursuit breaker is the billboard one, because if you have a very long tail behind you of police cars, trust me when I say this, just try to gather them up, reduce your speed, and then just go through the billboard and you will see the magic happen. All those cars will go down like flies. So number 1 on the bad list is that Need for Speed Most Wanted is very repetitive. And that's not an understatement or an over-exaggeration, that's just the truth of it. Need for Speed Most Wanted is a repetitive game. It has a 20+ hour campaign. If you don't like the first 3 hours or first 2 hours of the game, trust me when I say this, it'll be the exact same thing up until you get to the end, which is complete a couple of races, finish your bounty missions, and then challenge a racer, and then you do it all over again. And yeah, there's one in a few ways to spice things up, maybe by changing the types of races or by trying to speed run the bounty missions, but there's very limited stuff you can do. Number 2 on the bad is something that annoyed me the most which is the AI. I don't expect this AI to be perfect, but then I did expect it to be more challenging in a couple of areas. The AI cars will slow down when there is 2 or more civilian cars on both lanes of the road. And the most annoying issue is, as a human, you can see they could have avoided the whole situation of braking or reducing the speed, and just avoid him by going off-road and then reducing your speed and sliding. Number 3 on the bad list is drag races. Drag races, in my opinion, they are very bad. That's mainly because of how restrictive it is when it comes to switching lanes, and there's a lot of traffic when you're doing drag races for some reason, and for another reason your car is like a magnet when you do drag races. The drag races themselves are doable, but once you have too much traffic and your car moves very stiff and there's some sort of input lag when it comes to switching lane to lane, and yeah, since there's a lot of traffic, the AI cars will always stop once they see 3 or more cars on the lanes. And yeah, it's an avoidable situation. You can just move left or right just to avoid the traffic for some reason. So that's why I didn't bother doing the drag races starting from rank 11 all the way up to rank 2. And the last one on the bad is redoing races, or old races or unfinished races, is somewhat useless because you get paid less and the AI is set on easy mode, and it's less of a challenge, so it doesn't make it worth it. It's not worth it because you'll get a small payout just for not having a challenge at all. My advice is redo a really good race that pays a lot of money, 10k minimum, and then you can just redo that race over and over so that you can get the cash. I really do appreciate it if you made it to this part of the video. Keep an eye out on the videos. Sorry if it seems like I'm spamming. I'm not. So yeah guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon in the next one.